hospitality space. Tariq comes with almost 30 years of experience and has worked with leading brands like Louvre Hospitality, Golden Tulip, and La Meridian, to name a few. Our second panelist today is Mr. Amit Sharda, who is VP EMEA for Prologic First. Amit brings with him over 25 years of experience, of which he has spent almost 22 years with Prologic First in various roles and has been helping the company grow to where it is today. Welcome.
You, thank you.
And our final speaker is Mr. Prithvish Datta, Regional Head EMEA for Connectivity and Distribution for eRevMax Rate Tiger. Prithvish has almost 15 years of experience in sales and business development roles and has worked across various industries. So,
Thanks,
welcome on board, Prithvish. So again, a very warm welcome to all our panelists today. And we look forward to getting your thoughts and opinion on the topic that we'll be discussing here. Let me now take you through today's agenda. So as you can see on your screens, we'll be talking a little bit about traveler confidence, hotel sentiment, then key drivers to travel demand, role of technology, and some useful hacks, and then followed by Q&A. So talking about business confidence, just to give you a little bit of background on how and where we got these statistics from, eRevMax had recently done a survey with hoteliers to understand how their confidence is, among other things. And we will be sharing some of the key highlights of these surveys, and we'll be discussing that with our expert panelists today. Now, as you can see on your screen, the business confidence across the globe amongst hoteliers, when we do an average, shows at a 3.18 on a scale of 1 to 5, which of course stands at neutral. So not very high, not very low, but somewhere in between. However, when we look at the regional breakup, it's a very interesting figure that you see. So Middle East leads with 4.11 when it comes to the confidence, while Europe is somewhere close to 3 at 2.77. We can very well understand the reasons why we see such variations, because somewhere we, COVID and how it has been handled, and plus the, the new strain and lockdowns have all had, played a role in how economies are recovering and how business confidence is currently and for this year. So at this point, I would like to invite one of my speakers here, Mr. Tariq, if you're here, what is your take on what you see on your screen? Why do you think there's such variation across geographies? Do we have Mr. Tariq here?
Yes, Mia, thank you very much for the invitation and for being part of this webinar, and thank you for the introduction. As you know, and everybody knows from what we see in this slide, we have some environmental effects on that. Number one, of course, is the population compared to the space of land living. Most in Europe are busy, the number of population percentage compared to the side of land, which is not the case in most of the Middle East. So naturally, this is giving also one of the reasons for that on the geographical scale. The business scale also, if we talk since 2011, there was increase in the economy in the area, and if I remember that Qatar was on the lead, and then UAE and Saudi Arabia and even Egypt was one of these climbing economy after the big drop of the financial crisis started in 2008. Then the economy started to go up, and we saw a lot of projects came in the Middle East all over the country, from construction point of view, from manufacturer, a big increase of number of import and outboard and export in the Middle East that happened in the past 4 to 5 years before this incident happened. Moreover, there is a very important parameter that we can talk about in the Middle East. If we talk, for example, Dubai Airport as a parameter for what happened during 2020, imagine that there was a study recently that the number of travelers to Dubai airport in 2020 was only 25 million people. And although the numbers look big, but it's like 71% lower than 2019, 2018, and so on. So this big drop happened. But what is the relation between drop and this statistic? Guess what? The first quarter of 2020, there was 17 million traveler out of this 25. So that is the first quarter. And second quarter and third quarter found a big drop. And it was approximately 5 million. And the positive parameter here is December only in Dubai is 3 million traveler only in December, which is almost more than 20% of all in all the 2020 year traveler to Dubai. So that this telling you is like how fast in 1 month it became back again to the very close to the normal average of traveler per month in Dubai airport. Now, also looking to the improve of the political relation in the Middle East that happened recently and opened the border between all the countries, that's also encouraging the those sector who will be very hungry to recover after what happened.
Absolutely. I think you make some very valid points, Mr. Lutfi, and the points that you shared about the airport, of course, Dubai airport, as we all know, it's like middle of the world and a lot of flights actually cross through that. I hope I'm not interrupting you. I cannot hear you very well. Am I right in actually talking right now?
Yes. Okay. What I mean is the travel business will definitely reflect in of the improve of the business and the hungry desire of the recovery of all the sector of the business in general.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think this somewhere reflects in other parts of the world as well. So very quickly, Prithvish, your take on this. What do you think on this? And, you know, what do you think could have been the deciding factor and why Middle East is leading the pack?
Yeah, hi Neha. Hello everyone. Thanks for having me today on this panel, and I look forward to have an interesting discussion. So I agree, to which Mr. Tariq has said. Like, we can see that Middle East market is really doing good, other than any market in the world right now. We have seen that the government's cautious approach and the effective response to the pandemic, which helped and boosted the business confidence when the countries came out of lockdown. And indeed, it was really a fine balance that the Middle East governments managed to strike. You know, examples, I can give examples like hosting a successful IPL event has actually given a boost to the business and the economy. So all these play a key role in keeping the business confidence high for hoteliers. I would also like to point out another one of the biggest driving factor for this performance is the domestic travel, or more to say, drive to travel. The government has supported the business with world-class quarantine facilities. People obviously aren't racing to travel abroad or go on a long distance trips, but they are more willing to take local trips within driving distance, doing domestic leisure trips. So today's consumers now see that travel can look different, and drive to travel, or you can say domestic travel, is much more easier than booking flights, organizing elaborated trips. So travelers are more comfortable with shorter stays and more frequent trips. And we have seen that the hoteliers are taking a look at this to see how to better serve this local traffic that is coming in, this inbound traffic. And they just need to innovate. They are doing the innovation. They have already done the innovation, the rebranding, and they have already adopted new strategies and solutions, to provide new experiences to this, inbound travelers. So that is my take on, on this, what Tarek sir has said. I completely agree, and that is my take on it. Thanks, Neha. Over
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you so much, Prithvish, and thank you so much, Mr. Tariq, for having shared your thoughts and opinion on this particular topic. Moving forward, let's look at some other parameters that we found, and we'll be talking about sentiment as a follow-on, and what the expected recovery timeline looks like as per hoteliers who have been responding on this particular survey. So as you can see on your screens right now, almost 40% of the hoteliers are suggesting that recovery might take up to 2024. So a 2 to 3 year time window is what they're looking at. However, when you club the first two numbers here, it's again almost 45% that people, 45% of the respondents feel that it could be up to 2 years is what the time is needed for a kind of big recovery. So it might not be full-fledged, but a decent recovery, so to say. So at this point, let me invite Amit to actually share his thoughts on what he thinks would be a good recovery timeline. Amit, over to you.
Thank you, Neha. I'm pretty sure that at least for the Middle East market, the recovery would not take more than 2 years. And two key factors that will help improve it is the Expo 2020 and also the FIFA World Cup, which is happening in Qatar. So I think that for the Middle East, it's going to be a big boost, especially for the hospitality industry. A lot of people from around the world would be traveling to participate, to watch these events. And these big events are definitely going to help recover faster, probably earlier than 2 years as well. If you see the trend, when I spoke a couple of months back to the hoteliers, they were saying that their rolling occupancy is approximately 7 days, which in a 2 months time has gone to 20 days. So you have reservations coming in advance, and 2 weeks is not 2 weeks or 20 days is not a bad period to start with. That's it from my side, Neha. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you. And yeah, you make very valid points when we talk about upcoming events. They are surely, expected to boost economies and make people travel. And hopefully, Middle East will help and lead the world when it comes to travel. So thank you there for your inputs. Let's move forward. And our third category here is the source market. And what were the key source markets that hoteliers thought, would drive demand over the next 6 months, 1 year? As you can see, almost 75% of the hoteliers expect domestic leisure travel, which is again not a surprise. Given the lockdown scenarios and stuff, domestic travel has picked up and is expected to drive demand over the next few months. Let me invite you again, Mr. Tariq, for what your thoughts are here and how is the UAE market reacting to this?
Now, if everybody remembered, in the past 3 to 4 years, or probably maybe 7 years, there was some restriction done on the domestic travel, especially between the Gulf zone between the countries. There was some restriction with that. Well, if the travel during the Gulf, it's considered as a domestic travel within the Gulf country, within the GCC country. And now with the improvement of the relation, and this should impact very fast, because that was before one of the main support to the hoteliers in here. Also, if we look to some countries, the size-wise and the capacity of the country and the space, like Saudi Arabia, like Egypt, like Morocco, these countries are big countries enough for people to travel inside. That's why also this is one of the reasons that these countries has different climate. Some of them on the Gulf, some of them on the sea, some of them, they are different directions with different zones. Other than other countries somewhere, which is almost the same climate here and there. So that also one of the reasons that the domestic travel will be high. Also, it will take some time, probably a year or so, for this COVID restriction to be reduced from the 14 days COVID and thing, which people don't need to do it for the domestic travel. That's how I look. So yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Tariq. Yep. We have a couple of questions here from the audience, so I'll just take that quickly. Syed Roshdi has asked, what most attractive selling strategy to gain more customers and hotels to stay? Shayad, we'll be covering this particular point in our quick hack section a little too later in the presentation. So I think we'll answer it directly then when we reach that point in presentation. You've also asked whether any new branded hotels planning to open in 21, 22. I'm sure there would be many, and if any of you want to actually mention any, otherwise we can always, reply back to you. I mean, we'll find a lot on the internet on that.
Well, the restriction of the COVID did not stop the construction and improvement and the development. The development plan maybe a little bit went slow and some delay of opening, but the construction itself, the building itself, the improvement itself. And if you go to look at most of the international hotel profile, you see that they have expansion. They have signed some properties during 2020, and the big part of it, I think it was also in the Middle East.
Yep, absolutely. We have one more question from Ms. Khushbu Singh here, and Amit, this is directly for you. She asks, has the occupancy also increased by residents, that is staycations, etc., since the instances of travel outside the country have drastically reduced? Would you want to take that?
Thank you for asking the question, Khushbu. Yes, definitely it has increased, it has impacted. If I just take my personal example, in the past 3 months, we have gone and stayed in at least 3 times in different hotels along with the family members. So yes, it does help, and it has impacted it has improved the occupancy for the hotels and given that additional revenue to the hoteliers.
Thank you, Amit. I think it stands true for all of us. If we're not able to go somewhere, we want to go. We at least travel to hotels locally, and when you're in the business, you want to drive that revenue. So I think we'll move on and take more questions a little later. Let's move forward with the presentation for now. We've covered source markets here at this point. Let's look at technology, which was again one of the sections in our survey. And here we talk about what are the key technology priority that hoteliers expect looking at in 2021 to drive revenues or operational efficiency for that matter. And as you can see on your screens, the top 3 here are channel management, booking engine, and PMS, which again, highlight how and why these could be important. Very interestingly, you will see reputation management, rate intelligence, and contactless technology as well in this list. So I would invite Prithvish to maybe elaborate a little bit on what he sees here and why he thinks this is, these are the key technologies that hoteliers are looking at. And post that, I would want Amit to share his thoughts as well.
Sure, thanks,
Prithvish, go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, Neha. So, as per what we are seeing in the graph right now, I will tell you, with my experience, even before the pandemic, we were seeing a shift, towards cloud-based and self-service technology, right? And right now, this transition has been accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic situation. As customers around the world, they expect a contactless experience throughout their stay, which emphasizes mostly on health and safety measures, right? And the reduction in face-to-face interactions, while at the same point of time, getting a high level of service. As we have mentioned in our surveys, what are the technological systems? I will point out, the key ones from the guest and the revenue perspective for the hoteliers. So number 1, channel manager. So one of the most, foremost functionality of a channel manager is to avoid any kind of overbooking situation. But right now at this situation, it is most importantly to update your availability rates and restrictions and inventory, and seamless flow of reservations, cancellations, or any kind of upgradations directly to the PMS from your various demand sources, without any kind of manual intervention. And that is very much necessary right now. Not only this, but as we are seeing that the Middle East market is doing good, in fact, in terms of the inbound traveling or the domestic traveling, thus hotels, should take and focus more on regional channels. As what I have experienced, what I have witnessed talking to various hotels in this region, in the Middle East region, that they are doing good business with regional channels like, Sira, Halal Booking, DOTW, GTA, Hotel Beds, etc., etc. Number two, booking engine solution that can be integrated to the hotel's brand website, and it will definitely help you to aid direct revenue, you know. And it can be customized. You can do multiple reservations from one single page or cart. You can do multiple activities. You can run multiple promotions, and it's fully secured and integrated with payment gateway solutions. That is number two. Number three, definitely a cloud based PMS, you know, for managing, you know, booking data, occupancy status and rates. uh, After that, it would be always the guest review or reputation management tool. Now, our generation or most of today's generation is always mobile, you know, and at any point of time, we give our feedback in the social media platforms, and that where the guest review management solution actually helps, where the hoteliers can see what feedbacks they are getting and how they are responding back. They can run pre-surveys and post-surveys in Arabic language as well. I'm only talking about the Middle East part right now. Okay. Then comes your rate intelligence and business analytics solution for actually understanding how is your competition is doing, you know, tracking your competition's lowest available rate on a real-time basis, understanding your production visibility. Last but not the least, contactless check-in and check-out and in-room ordering, you know. So these, you know, these are the key technological systems, you know, in terms of the guest and revenue perspective that I am thinking of. And I do understand, I agree with the graph that has been showcased here. Thank you very much. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Prithvish. Amit, I'm sure you have something to add here. Please go ahead.
Prithvish has covered most of the points, but I would like to re-emphasize on especially the booking engine part of it. I am very happy to see this graph growing and hoteliers understanding that their own website branding and having a mobility available on their website and having a seamless booking engine available for the guest to book interface with their payment gateway is the key success factor for that, because it does give them extra revenue. You know, it's a direct business coming to the hotel without paying any commissions. And channel management usage over a period of time, I really hope that that reduces and people can start booking directly. But for that, hoteliers have to really work forward to have their booking engine quite solid. Reputation management is another point where I would like to emphasize today. If I have to go and book a room, if the PMS companies can have a reputation management pulled into from various sources like TripAdvisor or Make My Booking, all of these websites, the reviews can go into the central platform for the reputation management into the PMS. That will be very helpful. The guests, the managers can then concentrate instead of logging into different portals and replying to the guests. They could do it centrally from their PMS itself. And that's something which is remarkable and is important. Thank you.
Absolutely agree, Amit. While you were talking, I see there's a couple of questions that have come in related to what we're talking about. Prithvish, this one is for you. Sam Callan says, I'm missing the connection you just made to mobile and reputation management. Booking engines are often not mobile agnostic and do not allow mobile promotions or other marketing activities. What is your view on this?
Okay, so I don't agree with this, Sam. Actually, I think the booking engine right now, I don't know about what booking engine you're talking about, but booking engine right now, the latest one with the advanced ones, they are indeed, are mobile intuitive. They are actually. Having said that, in the booking engine solutions, the hotels can actually run different kind of promotions. At a later time, you can fix an appointment with me. I can definitely showcase how to run those promotions, how to do other marketing activities. I can definitely, give you a demonstration on that. But as you said, that, being mobile or, with the again, with the reputation management, you are saying that you are missing the connection. I said that our generation or the generation we are into, it's always, mobile. They always give the feedbacks. They always on the Facebook or any other social media platform, be it Twitter, be it LinkedIn. They always, give the feedbacks. And that's why reputation management is necessary for, and is important for the hotels to understand what kind of feedbacks they are getting, because this reputation management will actually map you in terms of different KPIs like your overall service, your food and beverage, your security, your housekeeping, your maintenance, etc., etc. So any bad reviews means bad business for a hotel, and thus the hotels needs to understand what kind of amenities are the customers are happy. They need to understand this, because the hotels need repetitive customers, not the customers who will come once and never to come back again. So this is my take on it. Yeah, over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Prithvish. I think that answers what Sam is looking for. I'm very happy to see one of our attendees, Syed Roshdi. He's actually putting forward questions which we are already looking to cover. But yes, Syed, I see a couple of questions that you've posted. Just allow me a couple of more minutes because we will be moving into the quick hack section. So let's actually go there. And I think when you hear the speakers share some of the hacks and tips, it will answer questions that you have posted, and if they don't get answered, we'll surely cover them. So here are some of the quick hacks that I think our speakers would want to speak about, starting from pricing strategy to how and why direct booking is important. Let me first invite Mr. Lotfi here, because I hear from him they have been able to drive direct bookings during this pandemic and even after, and actually have a sizable portion to the extent of 80 to 90%, which is actually huge. So Mr. Tariq, all yours. Please share with the audience what are the tips and tricks that they can possibly utilize and drive more.
We always now, to complement what my panelist colleagues here said in the previous slide, talking about the connectivity and also its relation with the pricing. And this is to answer the question of the gentleman who was asking how to increase the volume of the business. First of all, we need to understand that the consumer behavior definitely changed. It's not the same consumer who used to book in 2017, 2018. He's not the same consumer with the way of order in 2021, 2020. The idea is this period of lockdown and closing increased the electronic ordering, the buying, the order. Everything became more online. It became part of the culture. It became part of the daily routine that people are not going anymore or calling the restaurant anymore to give orders. So I agree that the contactless became now, it's not a decorative or not, it's now the user themselves. They are not waiting anymore for the order or the waiter to come and take the order or to do the order over the phone. They just use the application to select their item. So the technology here has impact. That is one side. The other side, which we always advise also the client or the people who has booking now, the social media became the way out. For those people who are locked down or closed or sitting home or avoiding their picnic, they're going out is through the social media. So the social media became the outdoor for out from home. So the pages that you put in your social media, it's more important than ever before. It's not a part of your marketing. It is the core now of your marketing to have a strong Facebook page, to have a strong Instagram page, to have a strong a snapshot base. And on these pages, that's how we succeed to achieve, is to add a booking, to link the booking channel directly to your social media page. And that drive a lot of business. And that saves time because your sales team can reach 100 office months by phone or by visit, but your social media can reach to millions. So that is one of the...
I think multiplier effect is what you're talking about, with social media allows you.
The demand you have, it reflects on your pricing strategy. When you have large number of people looking at your page, seeing your page, this effect also in your provision for the prices that you decide.
Right, absolutely, Mr. Tariq. So yes, the multiplier effect, and plus the fact that you're driving more bookings to your direct channel and not having to pay commissions to your OT and other channel partners. So one very big way, even though it takes a little bit of effort on a daily basis, but something that is very much doable and achievable, and people are already doing it. So something that each and every hotelier should look at. Amit, I open the floor to you, and we would like to hear from you in terms of what are some of the quick hacks that you would suggest to all the hoteliers who are here today in the audience.
Thank you, Neha. Once again, I would like to emphasize on basically 2 points. One of the points which you can see on your screen itself is work with the competitors to maintain have a daily quality. So I have known in Dubai, at least in a certain area, all the hoteliers, general managers and the revenue managers, they did get together and decided that they will not undersell and cut rates for each other's property. They will maintain a reasonable rate so that it is affordable for the people who are coming in and not go lower than a certain rate, which has definitely helped them. The second point that I want to emphasize is the value-based selling. In order to do value-based selling, we need to identify the guest. And it's been long. I do not remember any hoteliers actually referring back to the history that is available to them about their own guests who are visiting them. The data is lying in a silo system. Some data is lying in the F&B system, some is in the PMS or at the spa systems. They have the time in their hand. It's the right time to gather the data, bring it into a single platform and understand the guest. Once you start understanding your own guest, because this comfort zone is gone now, you know, that amount of guests that used to come to your hotels is gone. So we need to start thinking about value-based selling, and the best value-based selling can only be done if you know what your guest likes. Just to quote you one quick example on that, let's suppose family is checking in. The moment we saw that, okay, there is a wife accompanying the guy, we can definitely propose maybe a cookery session for them. And that small revenue will be an add-on revenue which people have not thought about. So let's suppose there were 10 families checked in. We can arrange a quick 1 hour session maybe for the baking and charge them a nominal fee for that. That additional revenue that is earned by the hotel is definitely going to help them to increase their top lines. And the last, if you permit me, was the Google Display Network. That is something which is very important. I would like to emphasize that people have heard about the Google ads, but if they promote the same ad to a Google Display Network, one thing is that it's going to cost you less money. And Google Display Network currently has more than 2 million websites where that ad could be displayed, and you can actually target the exact audience, exact reason for the same purpose. So please do spend some money to promote your own property and reduce your dependency on the channels. That would be my request.
Amit, on that point, I have a question for you from one of our audience members. So somebody's asking, does Google ad display justify cost for a medium-sized hotel? What would be the best way to get brand.com exposure, better exposure? So obviously the cost factor comes in. What is your thought on that? Yeah,
definitely. You know, it is an expensive thing to do, but you can always, as I said earlier, doing a Google ads is expensive. Move on to Google Display Network where you have a more exposure. More importantly, there are 2-3 things which I've noticed is that a room card key can be branded where you can put there that please book with us directly and avail an additional discount or a packages or an upgrade to your room. You know, you walk into a hotel, a small cookie plate with a tent card on, book with us directly. So you re-emphasize the message again and again throughout your hotel, wherever the guests are visiting, so that they can see. And eventually over a period of time, I'm sure that they will start going back to the hotel website to get that extra bit that hotel is offering to them. Thank you.
Right. So I think, again, this was something we were discussing a few days back between Amit and us. And Amit, I think what you're trying to say is not just the advertising, but also where it is getting redirected to, and making sure that once a guest reaches your website, it is a seamless experience for them, right? They should not feel lost and they should know exactly what to do there. So only then would you be able to convert those lookers into bookers. Okay, my next question here is for Prithvish. Prithvish, so somebody from our audience, I think Sam Callan again. So the question here is, obviously, it's best to invest in brand.com and Google ads and SEO, but then do I work together closer with trustworthy OTAs to tap into recovering source markets? So we're talking about online channels here. I would want to you to actually go in and comment about this.
Yeah, thanks, Neha. Yeah, Sam, basically, see, regarding the trust in OTAs, as I have mentioned, in my opening speech, that, what I have witnessed right now during the pandemic situation and as well right now, that the hotels that I am talking to, they are more dependent on regional channels. So you can definitely, talk to regional channels of yours. Like, I have mentioned like Sira or Halal Booking or DOTW or GTA or Hotel Beds. You can do that. Having said that, in terms of what Amit sir has said, in terms of the parity, the parity part. So in our channel manager, we have an inbuilt solution, that will actually help the hoteliers to understand and check what kind of parity incidents or issues that are happening with respect to different OTAs. You can do that. And right now in this pandemic situation, we are witnessing that even the 5-star to 3-star category hotels are underselling. But we also need to understand that hoteliers need to sell on value rather than sell on pricing alone, right? What I have witnessed, one of the biggest drivers of revenue for hoteliers, it's innovation that has been driving the hotel business in this turbulent time. Last 1 year, obviously, it has been extremely challenging for the industry, and we have seen hotels utilizing, the guest rooms for work from home packages. They are offering banquets and meeting rooms as hired workspaces, as well as using the hotel's restaurants or kitchen for delivery or takeaway orders to generate revenue in any form and shape. And trust me, I have seen that many hotels are renting out parking space to nearby businesses even. So that is the kind of innovation I have witnessed, and they are trying at most to generate the revenue in any form and shape. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Prithvish. I think a follow on to this by our friend Syed, one more question that he says is, do we need to focus more on special rates by market and region, or same rate can be distributed to all markets at the same time? Before I pass this on to you, Prithvish, I just wanted to highlight a couple of small things that, various OTAs are also doing. Of course, your booking engine remains the key, but then when you're working with different channels in different markets, example being say booking.com that has launched its promotions rates, like, different kinds of rates that you can use, whether it's child rate or early booker rate and stuff like that. And also, platforms like Agoda, Opportunities, even Expedia has come up with a variety of different promotions to help hotels get more and more domestic bookings and any other, like, inflow of bookings that is coming in. Prithvish, anything you want to add for Shahid here, whether, the focus should be more on special rates by market or region, or whether they should be distributing same rates across different markets?
If I see, if I talk about the booking solution, uh, this will definitely, like OTAs, they definitely have a certain percentage of commission that they charge, anything between 15 to 22%, right? But at the same point of time, we also need to understand, if we have a booking solution, integrated with the hotel's brand website, this will help us to get a direct revenue. We don't need to give any commission to anybody right now, right? So this will actually help the respective target audience or the bookers to do multiple reservations. I have already told earlier in my speech, can do multiple, activities or promotions, and it is definitely fully secured and integrated with payment gateway solutions. At this payment gateway solutions, your revenue is coming directly to your bank account. It is, nobody is, deducting any kind of commission out of it. So that's my take on it. Like, if you're talking about OTAs, I would definitely, in this pandemic situation, I can depend on regional channels. I can definitely depend on my booking in solution, where I'm seeing that my inbound traveling is higher than any outbound traveling. So that is my take on it, Neha.
Right. Thank you, Prithvish. Amit, I think there's a question for you which I want to pass on. So, Venu from arlystay.com wants to know, what is the possibility of short stay hotel rooms, slot basis booking, or hourly booking? There's always a customer segment for short stays, more in the pandemic season. So, given that, your PMS is being used by multiple hotels in the Middle East, have you seen any such trend, or have you seen hoteliers, creating these kind of slots and booking options? What's your thought here?
Generally, this hourly rate situation only works for the hotels which are closer to the airport or within the airport. In this market, I have only heard that there are two hotels who are doing the hourly based booking. However, the PMS that we provide definitely has an option. But I don't think that gives enough revenue because the cost of making up the room is much higher in case you start selling the rooms on an hourly basis. So I don't think that's a viable solution. So I would say to hoteliers, I would ask them not to go for it, but stay with having at least a short stay booking at least for a day. Because please remember that hotels are also operating with a limited staff right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have Shifans here who's mentioned that unfortunately hoteliers in the Middle East, they love the legacy PMS and they still believe Opera is the best PMS in the world. So if they aren't willing to adapt to the new advanced cloud-based PMS, all these necessary technologies like channel manager, booking engine, etc., become useless. So I think most of us would agree to your Shifans here. I would want Mr. Tariq to share his thoughts on how he sees whether there is any change or whether we can expect hoteliers in Middle East to, take the leap of faith and go into cloud-based technology and be able to, leverage all these technologies that we're talking about here today. Over to you, Mr. Tariq.
Yes, thank you, Vinia. As a matter of fact, I do believe that this is not exactly the case. Probably that was a while ago, but Opera used to have the biggest share in the market earlier, and now they are facing a big competition in the market from several other systems, not only on the level of the BMS, but also on the level of the POS and the channel management and the CRS. All of them are facing a little bit of a challenge now. And let me tell you also that there are other software is a full solution. Everyone knows that the Opera is mainly a front office solution, and they are compatible with other back office solution. But when you look at the other solution for the Prologic First, for example, they have a front office and a back office, which is giving more harmony. And now the market became also aware that there are other softwares that is beneficial. And people now, especially with the technology of the mobiles and different brand and different software, still people can use different mobile. They start to have the open mind that it's not only one system that can do that. But I think the strategy is going now more toward the output of the system. What will be the output I will get from the system? Before, it was how to use the system, why the system is beneficial to me, how I can make my team or my staff using the system, and which is the system. Now, after this long time of using the softwares in hospitality, new generation of software solutions came, which more easier than the oldest one. I was working a couple of months ago on a comparison between the softwares and what solution, and some solution I couldn't get it from the biggest softwares that I have, where I got it there. So the multi-property software, that if you have multi-property to manage from one, I was doing a study for one of the owners for his property, but there was only one solution that gave us this actual solution. And only we advise the people to go for one full solution, back office and front office, which now it is more understood by the users.
Very interesting to know. And also, I think somewhere when we talk about legacy systems, which are obviously not cloud-based, the scope for development or innovation is comparatively much less compared to when we talk about cloud-based technologies. And I mean, a perfect example of that is Prologic First and Rate Tiger. I mean, you can integrate with different providers, you can plug in solutions, even if you are not offering those directly. So, you can end of the day create like a seamless solution for the hotel depending on their needs. You can, pick and choose what you want to use and accordingly offer a kind of a combined package to your hotel customers. Mr. Tariq, I have further follow-on question. Sorry, one more thing that I want to ask your feedback on. I have a attendee here, Mr. Saurav Sajeev. He says hotels are experiencing turbulence in revenue at the current time. So don't you think it's good to delay further technological advances until occupancy picks up? So given that you're from the hotel side and you are into technology and you use a variety of technology, what would you suggest to Mr. Saurav here?
Okay, the suggestion here is we have two options here we are talking about. We have an option for a system that give me a strategy and tell me how it's going on, and system that drive more revenue to me. So if your business went down, you need to drive more business. You need to drive more revenue. You need to find for a system and a solution that give you more income. A distribution channel that puts you in 500,000 to 1 million point of reservation worldwide, whether it is used internally or externally, domestic or outbound or inbound, but still you need to exist more. If you wait until the recovery happens, then other people, your competitor will be publish themselves more. So you need to put yourself as much as possible on the channels, and social media is one of the channels, and the solution for the booking from the social media is very important, and also the other booking engine is very important, and these solutions give you that.
I think that you've really encapsulated it in a very proper way, and I'm sure Saurav agrees with you. So yes, if you want to drive more occupancy, you need to have the tools to drive it, so that you're able to move forward on your revenue goals. I'll just put it that way. So I hope I'm covering all that you said, Mr. Tariq. Amit, I have a question here for you from Sem. So Sem says that it's a good tactic when you talk about working with competitors on the baseline ADR. The question is, does this not conflict with price fixing regulations, at least in some markets?
I do not think so, because there is no price fixation market from the law, as per the law. So it depends on an individual hotel to another hotel, how they want to sell their hotel, at what rate do they want to sell their hotel. I think it's a very good initiative that some people have taken, some hoteliers have taken, in order to support each other. If we start cutting down on the rates, then we do not get the money to even break even with the revenue and the cost that we currently have in hand. So
right.
That's my take on this. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Amit. And I see Ram here has mentioned something, and I think it is in relation to what Venu had earlier asked about hourly based rate. So Ram says hourly based rate is not even supported by top OTAs and also not by a lot of IBs. So possibly this is something that will still take a little more time to come in. And again, it all comes down to the requirement and the maturity of the market. So we'll have to see how that goes. All right, so we have kind of covered most of the questions that we have received. I am not sure if I have missed out any, but since we are on top of the time, I would not want to hold you guys any longer. If you have any questions going forward, please put it in the chat or write to us on marketing@eRevMax.com. You'll see it in your slide before we just close. So let us just conclude by looking at what we have on this slide as key takeaways. What hoteliers need to do for the next 6 months, 1 year is be cautious, adaptive, and responsive. I think these are the key words, because we know what we survived last year, and that definitely has made us more stronger and more adaptive. So let's all be cautious, but at the same time, we need to be open to different solutions, new technology, and find ways of how we can create new demand and drive more revenue to our hotels, and of course being more responsive in terms of contactless technology, or whether it is driving your guest loyalty in whichever form or shape you can. Q&As, I think we've already covered. Here on your screen is the
Sorry, there is one thing I would like to say. If you can go back to the previous slide, I definitely would like to give a round of applause to all the hoteliers that we have all survived through the pandemic period, and we are all hoping that we recover it fast. It's good for everybody. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. And in fact, I would just want to invite all our three panelists. Any closing remarks that you want to make before we wrap up the session today? We'll go with you, Mr. Tariq, first. Any closing remarks?
I see most of the question was going about the revenue and the solution and the drop happening in the market. And probably we didn't cover it well when we give solution. Now we need to know that there is no typical solution applied on every hotel or every resort. Each resort and each hotel has its own circumstances, its own attraction, its own way of business. So there is no typical solution applied here and applied there at the same time. So it's definitely a matter that you need to study your strengths. You need to make your SWOT analysis and work on what is fitting you and who's your client and who's your targeted client. So that is part of the answer for the question of the drop of the business. But also on the other hand, there is two steps for every business that drop. There is always two solutions. It's either you open new markets or new destination or new channels to grab business that you were not working with it. So you need to change direction. You need to add one more tube of business driving, something you were not hitting before, something you didn't communicate before. So you need to find new channels, and that's why we need a channel management solution and a technology solution to do this. That is one thing. The other thing is also you need to have a new product. You need to have something you didn't have before. You need to do. That's why we go sometimes for the packages. This is to answer a question about do we go for the short stay or the long. You need to have packages. You need to have varieties. You need to give people different options. So if you give one option, it is not fitting to one person or particular people. But you need to have more than one option. So by this way, you drive the business to you from different channels. So this is my advice to everybody. If you want to improve your business, you either find new channel or find new product. That's all for me. Thank you, Neha. Thank you.
I think you could not have summed it better, Mr. Tariq. Those were like absolutely words of wisdom that you just shared, and you've put it across so very simply. I'm sure every hotelier would relate to this and would agree what you have said is so true. So thank you for that, and thank you for putting it so simply.
Thank you.
Amit, over to you. You're welcome.
Well, I would make only 2 points. Number one is look at the data that you already have. Doesn't matter what PMS you're using. Please clean it up, get in touch with your guests, get connected, offer them something, just send them a note saying asking about their well-being. That is one point. The second point that I would like to definitely say is that the data which is currently lying in the different systems, bring it together into one platform and focus on your internet booking engine, because I am of a firm belief that if all hoteliers get together and spend that little extra money on their own website, slowly, incrementally, your revenues will increase and your bottom line, top lines will be much better. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Again, I think we are very clear on what you're highlighting. So direct bookings, brand.com, and the data that is already sitting with the hotels. These are certain things that hoteliers need to look at and utilize their time and resources and drive more business and revenue through that. So again, thank you very much for your inputs. And I'm sure these are again very useful for our hotelier friends here today. Prithvish.
Yeah, thanks.
Over
Neha.
to you. Your closing
sure.
remarks. Yes.
Sure. So I would definitely say daunted but not defeated. And most importantly, we have survived. That is the most important thing, that we have survived this pandemic situation. We are still fighting, right? Having said that, I will emphasize on certain points. So we need to understand that one of the most important factor to bring revenue is to concentrate and focus on your past guest. You need to understand what is your guest data that is lying in your hotel, right? Make some analysis on that guest data that you have. Need to figure out that who are your repetitive guests, what kinds of rooms they have booked, what amenities they took during this stay, were there any issues, were they happy, what other facilities they have asked for, and identify your most valuable guest. That is most important. Apart from that, we need to understand that what kind of channels, as Tariq sir has suggested, what kind of channels you are using to engage with the guest. You know, are you incentivizing guests for booking direct to drive loyalty? Are you working closely enough with the channels that bring more business? You know, utilizing packages and programs. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about collaboration with the right channel, right technology partners to create a win-win situation for everyone. Again, we need to survive. We have already survived. We need to survive again for another 2 years. And thanks. Over to you, Neha. Thanks,
Thank you,
Amit sir, and
Prithvish.
thanks, Amit Tariq sir.
Thank you, Viren.
Thank you, Prithvish, again. And I think you have again highlighted a very key point where we talk about partnership, working together, collaboration. So we all, of course, coexist, and none of us can really, exist in isolation. So we all need to work together, whether it's hoteliers or technology providers. So let's move forward and let's make sure that we continue to be resilient. So on that note, let me thank my esteemed panel of speakers today. It was a pleasure having you and hearing from you. Let me go out and thank you individually. Thank you, Mr. Tariq Lotfi. Thank you, Amit, Mr. Amit Sharda. Thank you, Mr. Prithvish Datta. It was really having an honor having you all here and hearing from you. And last but not the least, all our audience members, thank you so much for tuning in and for being a lovely audience. Thank you for throwing all the questions that you have, because we really had a lovely time taking them on. And feel free to write to us with any further questions you might have for any of the panelists. So here is the email ID on your screens. And before we close today's session, thank you to our friends at Prologic First and at eRevMax, specifically naming Mr. Indrajit Basu and Ms. Aparna Bhattacharya for all the help and support in making sure that we are able to do this webinar here today with you. So thank you, and signing off for today. And we'll keep you posted on the other sessions coming. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye.